Okay, everyone, before you listen to this episode, I finished it. It's really sort of long, an hour something. God was guiding me to it. Again, using my own life, since I believe my life is very similar to the prophet. Again, it's similar to all prophets, but I'm being followed by demons like them. But this specific prophet, many areas of his life, because it's like it's being used to expose lies about him. Okay, I made that episode. It's really about trying to explain why there's this huge separation of our prophet from the Europeans. Why the devil is accusing him of not entering Europe with Islam in the past, or just simply why they make it seem as if there was no connection between Europeans and right the Asians and the Arabs, basically that you would say are connected to our prophet then, because he's Asian. I thought I was just trying to tell you then, right, that God was guiding me to that, right? That I believe Islam entered Europe during the Prophet's time because, right, he has to finish his mission, otherwise you failed or something. Two, exactly that. The devil's saying that because it hurts him because probably the people who first joined the religion were European. And then I finished the episode, subhanAllah. Any Muslim who knows Allah right now, I'm telling you right now, this is a hugely divine moment for me. I swear by Allah's name. I swear. I finished the episode, I sat down, and then I said to myself, wait a minute. I'm around a lot of Africans right now and a lot of Asians. So even the Asian is not so much of a big deal to demons. They don't necessarily separate me from them. But then I said to myself, I don't see Europeans anymore. So why are demons so scared of me seeing Europeans? And then I thought of the times that right, if I ever found a male attractive, he was technically European. Okay, everybody, okay. Yes, I'm okay with Asians, but I wouldn't say they're my preference. And I'm not attracted to Africans. So forget it. So, anyways, then I thought to myself, it can't be, it can't just be that. It can't just be that Europeans who probably had a great relationship with their prophet, right? They just entered the religion. They were like the first people. They were so cool. And the devil hated that connection because, right, his people weren't probably the ones to first listen, maybe like that. And the devil wanted to ruin it. Well, the devil can't really make such a big deal out of that. I knew it. I swear by Allah's name, I knew it. It had to have a bigger meaning. I believe Khadija was European. I believe he actually married. I believe our prophet actually married a European woman. And obviously that means she has to be supernatural because they don't marry regular females. But if they're not like me in their sexuality, okay, then her history is destroyed. Because who is she? His wife, right? And that's why then they tell you. I thought of the hadith, right? Because I'm Muslim, right? I study Islam. I remember the parts of history where Islam says she is the only person to accept him. She was this. They don't make it seem like it was just a nice person, right? Of the opposite gender who's compatible with him that just married him. No, they make it seem as if she was right from a different place. So they probably lied and made it seem as if she was more wealthy than him, maybe, right? She had a business. Maybe it wasn't necessarily about money. Maybe what's so significant about her and him, right? Was the race. And then two, of course, it's a lie, everybody. She's not 40 something and he's 25. That's perversion. Okay? You can't be more than 5 years older than each other. And Allah is the one who guided me to that. So forget it. So, anyways, oh my God, I figured the puzzle. Our prophet married a European woman. So that's why there's such a big deal about the first wife he had, as they tell you. It's so nasty. What do you mean first? There's only one wife. The other is rape and cult and kidnapping and trafficking and weird perversion and consensual rape nonsense, disgusting things happening over there. So goodbye. But right, that's why you see this how you Muslims should know Allah is guiding you. It's whatever seems to be like a thorn that just sticks out. It just sticks out. We all know Khadija sticks out. But we don't think about any others. That's because that's actually a character made out of his actual real life wife in history. Our job is then to figure out who she was. So I go through persecution where my life is made to behave in a way where I can figure the puzzle out. Anytime a European male was attracted to me, the devil hated it more than I have never. It's like he's being told his time is up or something. And he would harass me with Asian males, and African males would be the perverts. But the Asian male, right? Maybe they just try to, actually, both of them were perverts, sorry. But other times, they would actually bring me just an Asian male. Get it? It's just simple. He's not being creepy or anything, just normal. And they would just try to project me to him. Just look, he's handsome. Go to him like that. I'm not a regular human female. I tell you guys right now. I'm confident to tell you who I am. So I don't have to keep hiding that from you anymore. That means I'm not created to exactly pick a human, regular male as a spouse. So God has my spouse. I don't know who they are, okay? But what I'm saying is, I kind of know, but I'm not going to tell you. But what I'm saying is, I remember, especially in this job in 2016, right? They were in my high school years also. They would bring me Mexican. They would bring me Asian males, the other type of Asians, right? Like maybe Korean. I think I've seen all of them with Japanese, Chinese. They so they see what the devil is doing. He's thinking I'm just gonna bring almost all the ethnicities of the Asian. You're Asian, but you're adopted and you don't know because we threw you to Africa. You don't know who you are. We're just gonna harass you. We know your first preference is European because you're like your prophet. So I don't think it's random. I think our prophet probably preferred to marry a European because of the fact that then the devil could care less if it was random. Maybe he preferred it. And then Asian is next. You see? Maybe it's the preference part that irritates the devil, so he has to flip it. Okay. They always talk about how this woman accepted him when he was going through, right, the time of giving the message to Asia. And they always tell you, right, the Arabs didn't really listen, right? They rejected the message. They always tell you he just suffered, basically. But that this distinct woman who was wealthy, Khadija, entered his life. Everybody, that's your cue. That is not some Arab female. I already told you she can't be too old. That's perversion. She has to be within his age group, which is not more than 5 years. But there you go. Why does the when God allows the devil to corrupt, he's not allowed to take certain things from us that could help us bring the puzzle together. So he wasn't allowed to just phrase her story in the hadith books as just saying, oh, just this nice female, or just this simple female, just he met her. No, they make it seem as if there was something about her that her accepting him, right, when he's being rejected, somehow matters to us. Why does it matter if it's an Arab female? Isn't he a good man? Won't he just, if he was a regular human in his sexuality, wouldn't he just mate with a regular human female, even though that's not righteous? I just told you that's not rational. They're supernatural and they're highly righteous. Regular females can't be with him. You're not as, you're not as great as him in that healthy moral way of being greater than someone. So that's why you all don't like it. You all say to yourselves, why would a prophet marry a regular Muslim female? There you go. You don't like it because that's God guiding you. That's not what can happen. God has to bring him someone supernatural, someone very righteous, basically a female prophet. But if the sort of marriage part is a regular female and they're not like me, but that's how I am, then at least the righteousness means he's gonna be with her only. They're not they're not like you. They're not too carnal and too sexual, okay? And they don't cheat or fight or anything. So you get me. He's not a pervert. He's not gonna pick some creepy old 40-something-year-old female. It's disgusting. And he didn't get married when he was 25 or anything. All prophets usually reach 30. Just like Jesus. You all agree he's like 30, 31, 32. You know he didn't get married. So this prophet, his life is just under attack. So Allah put me through similar life as him. So I help you figure out the puzzle. You could just study my life. I get to defend him. And it's not like I couldn't understand it anymore. Right? Demons do the same thing. So everybody, I think right now, God Almighty is guiding me that our Prophet Muhammad married a European woman. And the devil is thinking I have to separate Europe from Arabs or Asia. Therefore, exactly. That means their kids were European and Asian, right? In that sense, they're mixed. So so Europeans were Muslim then, right? The kids were Muslim. Okay? And if Mahdi is gonna come from that, right? The Prophet's lineage, of course people keep mating with whoever they want over time, right? You get me? Europeans are mixed in that, everyone. You know? Because Arabs usually don't breed with Africans, to be honest with you. Especially the ones in, right now, Arabia, where you would agree those females just stay within their, like that. But definitely, don't worry about that. That's none of our business. But that means That's why I constantly had that situation where yes, they project Asian males to me, but I don't select them. It's now you get me. It didn't really work. The devil couldn't get what he wanted. You know what I'm okay. But then when I met a European male, instantly that was someone I felt attracted to. That was someone because God allows it to happen. It doesn't mean you commit a sin. I didn't commit a sin, okay? It's just the feeling. At least I was telling God, this race, right? The way that my body was created, the way I look. Because I'm very just, okay? If I'm ugly, I'm not gonna, no, I'm not creepy, okay? So they're just, right? Their males are the ones I could ever pick. You get me? In terms of race. Okay. And then Asian is next. Asian is not first. So there you go. That's your answer. I can't understand why when they bring me Africans, they just trying to harass me, abuse me with them because they really don't have any purpose in the picture, right? That you're just being shown they adopted you. So they're trying to prevent me from finding that out, right? Even though I don't look like them, I think I already figured it out, right? If I'm a kid, I don't look okay. But this is about sexuality now. When it comes to sexuality, demons, right? If they ever used males, they're gonna use Asians. I remember they would just use Asians, but they know it doesn't work. And this European male was the only human. I'm gonna tell you this right now. They're the only human that actually accepted me in that way. Because get it? That means I go through demonic persecution. Wherever I go, people are like dead or dumb or blind or something. They're the only human that helped me one time. The demons were possessing Africans and they were just tormenting me. They were possessing, right, Asians and they were just, it doesn't matter who they possess, to be honest. The Africans were not being used for God to insult their race or anything. No, He made them be the ones to usually be used to harass me, everyone, because that was the way God was showing me I'm not from their race. I know you might think that doesn't make sense. No, it's because all I see is I'm repulsed with their males. So then that's God saying you're not born to that father. You see what I mean? When they're just normal around me, okay, I'm just normal around them. I don't mean that. I don't mean I see them and something bad happens. No. They're males, get it? Their males are made to harass me pervertedly so that then I'm repulsed by them. So that God then says, you're not born to that African family. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so that's their job. They were possessed to show me that about my identity. Okay, then the Asian males, demons possess them, they bring them to me. They were used to teach me that yes, I'm attracted to their males, but you're not my preference. It's like they're helping you figure out who you are, your identity. Okay, then the European enters the picture. Well, I pick you. Here I am thinking that's just me. But wherever I go in the United States, even though this is a mixed country, demons prevent me from being around Europeans. It's insanity. One, they're obsessed with surrounding me with Africans because get it, it's harassment. They adopted me, you know what I mean? I'm not their race, it's like harassment. But then I see Asians every now and then, and I feel connected to their race, yes. I look like them, yes, but I could care less. Okay, but if I see European people, it's like, oh, it's like you're my friend. You're the one I feel like you're my friend. It's your race that I feel like you're males. I could pick one. You get me? And then if I can't find you, okay, I have to go to Asian now. If I can't find you in the Asian, then I just stay single. So I don't understand why. Then they're so hateful of me. These demons, why they care so much. That I see Europeans, that I see their males also. And that when I was actually being taught about what's sinful, right? God was surrounding me with Asians and Europeans who are male, right? Who just for more than not more than 5 years age gap than me. God was saying that's the limit. That's the limit. So you see, I'm being taught multiple things and everything that a human is possessed to just simply be around me. They don't do anything. They just interact with me like a normal person. Hello, how are you? It's like I get to learn it though. I get to learn what God is inspiring me. Okay, but it's like the Asian males always liked me. It's like they were always attracted to me. Again, God makes them. It's not real. I just have to figure out what happened to my prophet. Okay, they don't know me. They're the ones who are attracted to me. But I'm just like whatever. You get me? They're like the second choice. And at the beginning, I thought the Europeans were the second choice. But see, I didn't get to see. I didn't get to see them enough. See how evil the demon is? They want to confuse me if I get to choose. Okay, but then at the same time that this Asian males, right, their demon is possessing them to constantly act like they're sexually attracted to me. They want to, right, be friends with me, whatever. There's this European that enters the picture, and everyone is scared. Like, what are you scared of? It's like they just freak out. Oh no, we're doomed. Okay, and this is someone I actually thought I could marry if I am not supernatural. This is someone I thought I could actually marry. Okay, but then what happened? They were the only person who helped me when I was being harassed by everyone that's being possessed. Just bad people, okay? Don't worry about their race. But as I'm being harassed, it's like I have to be careful with my words, everybody, because I don't want you to feel like racism is coming out of this. Demons use everybody, okay? The things have symbolism. At some point, God lets them use one race a certain way because I'm trying to figure out. I'm sorry, God is trying to teach me how they lied about the prophet, because I'm not in that time. Because then that helps us understand then why we all believe he's a great prophet, but they always say he didn't enter Europe. He has no relationship with Europeans. Well, if the devil knows that a European woman is who he married, that destroys everything. She obviously would help him go to Europe. She obviously would have some friends or family that she knows. They would enter the religion. You see, so some Europeans have to enter the religion other than her. But even if it was just her, everybody, right? And then he stayed in Arabia, and she's the only European, right, who entered the religion because she's the only one around him. Exactly. It's still the first person to enter the religion, Islam tells you, was Khadija. And that, if I tell you right now that that's European, then you understand that he's a liar. Because it doesn't matter if they mean he didn't enter Europe. Well, Khadija was in Arabia. What does that have to do with us European race? Because she's still European. That means she came from Europe and came here. Then you're going to be like, that doesn't make sense. It's a puzzle. I don't believe they were in Arabia at that time. I believe exactly what you're thinking. That when he met Khadija, right? It was it was not the United States, goodness. It was basically a place you would say Europeans live in. They already tell you the Prophet. He told people about Islam, but they said no. The Arabs, the Asians said no. Then they tell you he immigrated. Okay, so I thought it's possible he immigrated to exactly Europe. I didn't know. That was just a hypothesis. But now then I know Khadija is the first person to enter Islam. And based on what I see these demons do to me all the time, they try to separate me from Europeans. And okay, they know that's the first type of males I'd be attracted to, right? And they was trying to push Asian on me. And they harassed me with the Africans. And I'm similar to your prophet. I'm living a similar life as him to expose the way he was accused of these things that are not what happened in his personal life. And you might be like, why does the devil care? This is personal stuff. Because Europeans worship Jesus. They basically are in Christianity. So that means the first person to enter Islam was a Christian. The devil hates that. That would inspire Christians then to learn about this prophet and be like, what was so interesting? It probably is not this Islam. If our people joined his religion, so they lie to you and they tell you he never went to any other place. That always disturbed me. If you're so rich and wealthy at some point as a prophet, okay, fine, at the beginning, he doesn't have much. But at some point, you would agree when Islam was spreading, he was wealthy. He should travel to other continents. One, to simply do his duties of talking to other races. God is not racist. But then two, exactly, it's not rational. You're not poor. Why are you stuck here? If you have money, you can travel the earth. So that's why the devil doesn't want you to think our prophet ever left Arabia, that he was someone who actually moved somewhere else. That destroys everything. You're all going to then say to yourselves, where is that history? If he came to our continent, what did our ancestors do to the Islam that prophet brought us? But then why don't they acknowledge him? Where is he in our history? And that explains everybody then why Europeans were so advanced right after Islam. Why, if you Google anything today, as I always say, it tells you a European invented it. Well, that's because this prophet visited you. That's because Islam visited you. You can't connect it to Christianity. Yes, right? Past humans had greatness. God is always the one guiding you to it. He taught this scientist something cool. But still, I'm talking about when this Islam is coming to you that you all think is not, right, sent by the same God of the Bible. If that Islam, right, literally made you what you are today, this developed way you all are as Europeans, whether you're in the United States or Europe, right? If you actually see that your greatness is being linked to this prophet that no one acknowledges in your entire race, you're going to feel ashamed of yourself and you're going to be sad that you don't know that history. Islam, the time it came back, Europe and all these people didn't have anything. Everybody knows the world was extremely destroyed and poor as hell. It wasn't just Arabia. So for some reason, for our prophet to come at a time, and he's always being accused of only staying in Arabia, but then for some reason, around the same time in human history, Europe is flourishing and becoming civilized. That tells you he's connected to your greatness, your wealth, and your civilization. And that's why then see how logical it is? The devil uses you, Europeans, to constantly go and kill the people that follow him, Muslims. You're the only race that's obsessed with Muslims. You keep bombing them all the time. Because the devil is saying, I have to break that beautiful link and bond between the two of you in that history. I have to destroy it. I have to make, right, those two groups, their children fight. Yes, to make those good Europeans, their children, which is you, the bad ones among you, be obsessed with the Middle East and Muslims and stealing their wealth. So then you see Israel versus Palestine. I don't see what else you gotta understand. It connects back to the history of what happened between the prophet and Europe. He did visit you. He married a European woman. But then not only that, she was the first Muslim. Not only that, she was probably a Christian. But not only that, it destroys the hatred the devil created between Jesus and Muhammad. So then that's also a symbolism of the future. Mahdi is a prophet, and whoever they happen to be when they arrive, just know Europeans will be one of the first Muslims again. I guarantee you Mahdi is going to marry a European. And I guarantee you the same cycle is going to repeat. And Asians, they're going to be some resistance because they're following the corrupted Islam again. And okay, good people from three races will sooner or later come together and you're all going to accept either way. But in terms of symbolism, Europeans are going to be very, very in love, okay, with the future leaders. Just know that. Because it's like a bond that was already created a long time ago. God is going to allow the good ones among you to just accept this person, just see them. It doesn't mean the good Africans and the good Asians won't accept them. No, just God is going to let it happen in a way, right, where the Europeans discover them first. Because the Europeans discovered our prophet first. You see, it's just to fix the lies. Our prophet, someone from Arabia, but then as a race, Asia, is always accused of having no connection to Europe. So not only now do you see hugely, hugely possible, huge, perfect guidance from God Himself to me and you, that Europe is advanced today. You people who call yourselves white, literally controlling the whole world because of our prophet. You keep saying you don't know him. Your ancestors are wicked and they stole that history. But the good ones of your ancestors benefited from our prophet and they were good people. Our job as a human race is to stop letting the bad ones among us make us not talk, not get along, not acknowledge that they have no business with us. We get to make our own decisions. We get to study history and see what the hell they did. And when God uses someone like me to guide you, don't just throw it away and be like, that's just a hypothesis. But think about it. You can literally, one day you're going to find me in the United States. Every city I went to, every place I was sitting in when I was homeless, every job I went to, you're going to see Europeans never harassed me. It was always Africans and then there's some Asians. It's just weird, you know? Does that mean that we need to attack a race? No, just don't look at the symbolism. They seem to love me. They're the people who accept me. I always feel like I can talk to you guys on this podcast because I'm in the US. I feel like I can be myself with you. You're just similar to me in terms of if I was to speak, if I was to explain religion, I feel like you're the ones to just listen. You're very open-minded. That's a great thing about you. Someone just like you of history listened to our prophet. So you already know our prophet immigrated. But they tell you he was first married or something. No, I believe he went to I believe he went to the Arabs. No one listened. Just like Noah, the first people like no. I think then he went to Europe and he got married. So that's why then the first person, not only then they have to be in Europe, so you can't be like he didn't enter Europe. Her family, her friends, I'm sure they've met him, and now it spreads to them and they're Europeans. So Europeans were the first Muslims. Can you believe that? And they want you to think Arabs were the first Muslims. So you get me? That's too confusing, right? We don't know who was the first Muslims. We don't know what Europeans did. Fine. But I believe this is the best way to at least believe what I'm saying. I think he married a European wife. I think he European female. I think he married a European female. That's crazy. Demons are always trying to prevent me from marrying a European if I had to pick one. If I had to pick one race. God have mercy. That's not rational. For what reason do they feel the need to be so obsessed with our sexuality? What is it their business for? If my prophet just met this wonderful European woman, right? Even though I'm sure he was attracted to his own race, and they clicked and that's the person from God for him. Why do you as a demon care that you feel so offended that you then want to corrupt their children and the ancestors of the future and just make this race and this race fight all day? Why do you care who the first Muslim was as a devil? That it was a person from Europe. Think about it, everybody. Khadija, when you hear about her story, it doesn't seem like a woman that was in Arabia, right? It doesn't seem like a poor female that I don't mean poor as in poverty, like just a poor little female. You know what I mean? Um, due to all the injustice, all the sexism, all the wickedness in Arabia, you also have to agree that's very logical. If he's stopping these evil Arabs, right, for abusing females and raping their 9-year-old girls, they flipped it, everyone. I figured it out. It wasn't killing 9-year-olds, it was raping them. So then they accused him of being the one that does that. Get it? It's so easy to see how the demons flip everything. Because it's a puzzle. All I'm doing is giving you pieces throughout all these episodes I've made. It's not hard to see what's going on. Today, there's this evil in Arabs, right? And then they put it into the religion, obviously. It's going to spread to whoever enters it, right? And wants to become like that. Of exactly raping girls as an old male, you know, going to children overall. But Obviously, they don't say the female does it. Okay, and then there's the story also of killing girls. That's not rational. When did the killing turn to rape, right? I mean, the rape was originally what the Prophet was stopping the Arabs from doing. So then, do you see why it is so logical that then he will not really have a woman to marry from Arabs? Because their females are so evil, they don't do anything about that. They just marry these males. Because obviously, that means they're marrying these types of males. Because how are these little girls being born unless you, a filthy, nasty Arab female, is raising them? When this male who you're married is, you know he's going to try to rape her and sell her to some other one to do it. You see, so the females also have to be sinful in Arabia, not just the males. Because the males are not independent. You can't coexist without each other. Humans breed. So that means they're just like the evil, filthy Muslim Arabs today. Get it? They're just like the Muslim females and Muslim males today who are Arabs. They don't stop this filth in their life. They don't stop it in their countries. Go to a Muslim female today who's Arab. The evil ones, they're gonna be like, yeah, it's okay. You see what I'm saying? So they want you to think. They want you to think the evil in Islam today is something that happens after the Prophet came. No, it's actually how things used to be before he came. That's just the type of sin Arabs used to do. Even the females were allowing their daughters to be raped when they were little girls. Okay, okay. So then for that reason, when the Prophet is no longer there to stop that evil, right? Then they just accuse him of it, accuse him of introducing it, so that then it can continue and spread because people love and respect him. It's easy to put this filth into the religion. You would then think, but if they love him, right? Then wouldn't they stop that evil in the religion, right? Wouldn't they just say, oh, we love him because he's a good man, he taught us good things. But this stuff is bad. I know. There are Muslims who say that, who say, what the hell's wrong with this part? But the other ones, the ones who are evil, like those evil Arabs he came to stop, are shutting everybody up. See, they're shutting everybody up because they're saying this is what he taught us. It's much easy for them to separate it from their prophet and God if they knew this is what Arabs used to do. Do you see? Because the goal is to make it seem as if this is something God introduced. But if it was there before the prophet was there, you can't connect it to him anymore. You can't connect it to the scripture. You can't connect it to God. Then you're going to say it's corruption. The first reason should be because it's evil and you should already figure that out, goodness. You should already just be a good person that you shouldn't obviously need us to separate it from the religion for you to disagree with it. I'm just saying in terms of, right, they're just a religion. It didn't introduce it. This is your evidence. Because it's a puzzle, everybody. If you don't want to use your mind, I can't do anything for you. I'm not God. What more do I need to do if you don't want to figure it out with me? There's a pattern. Killing unborn girls. It's not unborn. They're raping them. You guys can't be like, but they're very small. 9-year-olds is a bit older. I don't understand. Just like today, you know these Illuminati and all these other weird satanic groups, especially in the entertainment industry. You hear about eating babies and raping babies. So maybe they tried to rape babies, get it? But at some point, duh, it's gonna reach the actual older females. So then that means the females of Arabia, they're evil because they're not stopping it. They're not coming together and protecting themselves and going to other cities and other males who are normal and saying, help us. We're human, correct? If your husband is trying to rape your daughter, you are the adult who can stop that. So don't be like males did that. Well, what about the females? They have to be evil females. So then do you see how logical it is? The prophet doesn't have any women to marry. If he was not supernatural like me and marries regular people, then he has to marry another race. The devil's side. It's a European woman. You can't be like, it's probably African. I just told you. That's not possible. We have to figure out the puzzle. Africans were poor and they were being enslaved. A lot of them. That's the evidence then. They accused him of telling you some slavery is okay because he destroyed it. Because it doesn't make sense, right? Why is the United States still enslaving Africans until Lincoln stopped it? If our prophet is the man of the time, right? A prophet of man, my words are getting wrong. A prophet of God, right? Lincoln is just the president. He's just a human. I always ask God that question. If our prophet came at a time that Africans were slaves, and right, it's his job to stop slavery and sexism, right? And racism, all the injustice after that, but these three first, that it didn't make sense to me then why the United States was still doing it. Because they're very recent. A prophet was here a long time ago. It's very recent. Do you agree right now? Somebody can kidnap someone in the United States? Exactly. It doesn't even have to be another country. No, literally, just people going outside who don't want to be smart and fight. They just allow themselves to be dragged. Do you agree? Right now, a crime can happen in the state of New Jersey. Some weirdo can just go and kidnap somebody. Okay, but when they kidnap somebody, it has to be a race, correct? Okay, so what if they picked the race? What if it was specific? They were looking for someone weak to kidnap. I have to say weak, everybody, because you can't just kidnap everybody, okay? That's not to dishonor victims. I just have to separate them from actual strong people of God, okay? Okay, so let's say this weirdo is intentionally going outside. Let's say the bad, evil European, right? And they intentionally go outside and look for some African person. Maybe they get a gun, whatever. They kidnap them. Okay? Then at some point, do you agree they can go underground and go somewhere and just exactly traffic human beings to a point that then it's just that race? People from them. Okay. So if that's possible, and you wouldn't say, we have a government, how is that possible? You know, a government can still exist and that can happen as long as, right, people don't have that community awareness. Is the crime possible, everybody? Yes, okay. So yes, that means that our prophet stopped slavery. But the reason why the United States still enslaving Africans and then Lincoln had to go to war with them, goodness. And they're trying to erase that from history today and trying to make it seem as if they fought over, right, some sort of other stuff. See, that's how you know your enemy is the devil. And the only way to corrupt anything is to distort history first. First, scripture, because it teaches you morality, right? It's directly from God. But then history, he has to, you can't even be like, I don't believe it. I just gave you an example that has nothing to do with religion. They're trying to accuse Lincoln of going to war for some other reason that's political. No, they were having political disputes, yes. But the first reason the South was told, right, to stop what they were doing was leave Africans alone. We're going to end slavery. That's why Lincoln is a wonderful man in my eyes. But no one ever talks about him in the United States. They're obsessed with other presidents. You see, then, this is how our prophet also lost his image in the eyes of the world. They just diminished him. They just literally replaced him with other random males, right, who also had some sort of significance in history. It's easy. You might be like, well, Lincoln is still cool. How can that happen? Over time, everybody. This one is about time. Okay, fine, you can replace the amount of time people were supposed to talk about them with some other person, correct? Okay. But then they're still being talked about. Okay, so what happens is the devil just needs more time. Just a little more. 2, 3, 4, 500 years. That's all he needs to pass. Now Lincoln is totally out of your words. No one's talking about him. You're talking about Joe Biden, maybe. You give me over. So it's not hard. If the devil just needs time, he just needs a couple of 100 years, and people forget that important person. It's easy. But if he didn't have that agenda, yes, then time will still make you forget them, but you wouldn't forget them in terms of your words. They're still in your words. They be among the most significant ones you remember, like that. So if it can happen to this country that doesn't have a lot of history, Lincoln is not that far away from us. Our prophet lived way ahead of him. And you see, they always tell you he had the Qur'an with him. Who knows? That's why he's attacking Lincoln. It doesn't matter really if you follow the Bible or the Qur'an, right? He still was a good person. He still did, the good that you think he was doing. He took the good from his Lord and stopped slavery. So you see, everybody's under attack who stops some huge immorality, slavery, sexism, you know, but just regular random presidents who just sat there like a figurehead. They're all over your history. Because exactly, the devil is just here to simply teach you evil. So Anyone who has any significant change on morality is who he's then obviously gonna erase from history. He could care less if that person invented something and he doesn't like humans to have that advancement. It doesn't affect morality. So you see, even Lincoln is an example for you to see how they did that to our prophet. He's not even a Muslim. He's not even a threat to Europeans, but they don't like to talk about him. You get me? As long as you did something good about morality, your group, your people were doing it, right? Bad ones among you. They're the first enemy then. They're going to act like you didn't exist. So, okay, the bad people in our prophet's time that he's from have to be the first problem. The Arabs have to be like, let's erase his significance in the world and in us. He stopped raping children and babies and girls and calling it marriage and other ways of raping, obviously. There's obviously many ways they do it. He made women strong and they developed and moral people came out. Maybe the good women who ran away from Arabia came back. And because, right, those ones were evil, obviously. He made Arab women strong. They went to war. That's one thing Islam cannot erase. That Muslim women went to war. Again, the war happened after the Prophet, right? But the fact that they make it seem as if all he did was go to war because he didn't. He really spread it using knowledge like this. And he's supernatural. You can't fight with him, so he's not in war with you. He did exactly what I told you is the solution to human beings when a prophet comes down and they don't want to listen. You leave them alone. You immigrate. You just simply say to the people they were abusing, do you want to come with me? Do you want to join? God will find us a beautiful place on earth that no one inhabits right now. We're going to just grow into our own empire. Then whoever repents from that group is going to join you. So that's how actual civilization grows. But what do the bad ones do who don't want to listen to God? Exactly. They conquer people, they rape people, they kill people. So they have to always tell you in human history, everyone has to fight, everyone has to conquer the enemy because there's no way for us to win. They're going to think we're weak and sissies. If we also don't have a quality of trying to conquer, they make it seem as if it's bad to do those things, but that if they don't do it, the other group thinks they're weak. Oh my God. So then that's what Muslim preachers always say who are called sheikh. They always say, our prophet is good, yes. He should not have to go to war, yes. He should not have to conquer anybody, yes. But he taught Muslims that if they don't also conquer people, then they look weak to the world who usually goes to wars. What the hell? Are we an example of conquering people? Something you came to stop? Or the people of God supposed to be an example of morality? What are you talking about? What example do you think a person of God is? If someone from God has to come to you, not a regular person who's religious, but someone God himself created to be a supernatural, powerful prophet, the closest you have to an angel, they're going to teach you the basic fundamentals of dominance that the devil taught you when the whole purpose is for them to destroy it and teach you to just defend yourself. How dare you? So everything's connected. Everything's connected, everybody. So I believe our prophet married a European woman. And the reason why Khadija, this is how you know Allah is guiding Muslims, non-Muslims. Your Lord, God Almighty, this is how you know He's guiding all of you, not just me, right? The way that I'm being guided, because mine is a bit too supernatural, right? But for you, you all know Khadija is this sort of big character in your mind. God does not allow the devil to take that away from good people in history. They're always going to hit your heart. The fake ones, right? The fake wives they created. You all could care less about them. They're fake as hell. That means, everybody, whatever the prophet is accused of, right? All these impurities, that means Arab males used to do it. You can't just be like they just accused them. No, whatever a group of human beings, their demons possess them to accuse someone of, is actually their own qualities that person stopped them from doing. It got erased. Two, the other reason they accused them of it is so exactly no one stops them. They want to say our prophet did this. He allowed us to do it. He taught us this. We didn't do it. We Arabs didn't come up with this. We Muslims didn't fabricate nothing. We're just innocent babies. If God himself sends us somebody and he says that this man who's an example for you, see, they know he's an example. This man who's an example for you, he's gonna do this. God just forced us to be like that. He just told us this how men should be. They're gonna act like babies. They're gonna act like they were forced into these nasty things. They themselves will tell you it's disgusting and evil. But they'll tell you simply they do it because this man did it. They'll never say it's from God or it's good or anything. They have to always link it to the prophet. They cannot link it to God himself. Because Christians will enter the picture and be like, excuse me, excuse me. We also believe our book is powerful. Yeah, there's some weird stuff in it, but at least it's not the ones you have, you know? People will fight when you talk about God because everyone is saying, I have a different God, leave me alone. Okay, so the Muslims have to attach themselves to our prophet. They have to use him as their weapon to do all the filth in the world to women and children and as males to each other. And I'm sure that homosexuals, they can't be hating women and doing evil. Evil spreads. If you become a pervert, one day you're going to do all the other types of perversion. And the actual Muslims, I saw it years ago, like maybe 7 something years ago, when I was very young. I actually remember Arabs, their Islamic preachers going in the street and saying, you males are raping your sisters, your mothers. They actually were going after their own sisters and mothers. So we're not gonna fight with this anymore. You have to observe a human being, their ethnicity, what wickedness they were doing before someone moral came to them. Just tell me what they did. You don't have to know the detail, like they killed or raped a kid. Just what did they do? Well, they're obsessed with women's rights. Okay, what is wrong with Islam right now? Women's rights. That's it. Those evil Arabs did it. Not the good ones. We don't know where they went. Our prophet, you exactly who you think he is, a hero that came to stop them. If they say to you, where's your evidence he came to stop us? The evidence. The evidence is one. You're telling us he was already living in your countries. He didn't fly from some other place like some European man. You're telling me he was already with you. So then why didn't he just shut up and mind his business and just live the way you expect him to live if he was happy with what you're doing? Why in history is there this prominent time in your countries, and I just said Saudi Arabia, but just Arabia, why was there a time where he actually became some leader that brought some change? If what you males do right now under Islam that's corrupted is what you used to do before because the Prophet taught you, why does he need to teach you? Why does he need to teach you? We already know these horrible things. You used to do it before he taught you. You can't be like, you're right. We used to do some of this stuff, but he taught us more. If this man taught them this filth, right? He wouldn't have immigrated and left them at some point. He wouldn't have left them. No, he immigrated and there was a problem because he was a righteous man and he came to stop the bad Arabs and they didn't listen. And excuse me, whatever you do is not righteous right now. Whatever you say, you're connecting to him right now in Islam. These are not righteous things. Well, that's our opinion. That's your opinion. My God, have mercy. Surah Kafirun. Everybody. This is how the psychology of evil and lying is when it comes to demons. It's just bad people how they're also going to behave. They know connecting something to God doesn't work. People will tell you they just want another God then. So they have to connect it to a leader that was moral and just and stop them specifically versus someone else. Because then they can keep saying, you get me? That's fine if you Christians, you believe your God doesn't like what we do. Our prophet has another God. It's like he's the weapon. So his honor has to be brought back from what they're accusing it of. We have to take back what they're stealing from him. The other way you know the prophet was against what they're doing now and before is that he left and then came back to Arabia. Didn't I say it's possible he married a European woman? Okay, but then why are you going back to Arabia? He didn't really go somewhere else for a long time, right? I'm telling you, he spread Islam to all the three continents, Africa, Europe, and Asia. There's only three races. So he did his job. But why? Okay, why are you technically? Everybody knows you were there in the Arabia area too long. Because get it? This is your evidence. Prophets don't come to tell you their opinion or something. Like, hey, everyone, I'm sent by God. This is what you all have to do, and you have to stop this bad stuff. This is how you know. When you say no to them, they can't just leave because exactly they're righteous. So they're seeing victims. Would you ever leave a victim? No, right? You just can't change the abuser. Exactly. Do you have the right to intervene and basically take the victim away from this wicked thing that's trying to stab them? Like that, you have that right from God. You don't need permission from the abuser. Correct? Okay, so fine. That's why then when the prophet has to come back, he has to come back. He's coming back. It doesn't mean he left the victims. It just means there was something significant. God told him to go somewhere, do something, something. So that means the leaving was from God. God told him to go. I always tell you guys, God is the one who tells me where to go. It doesn't mean you're weak and a coward. He just tells me to move away from some people who are possessed. Don't deal with these cops right now who are just possessed to bother you and accuse you. Just leave. Don't go to the police station. Just go. Like that. It's like that. It's not time yet. So it doesn't mean he then left all those females being raped. No. He had a reason why he had to go somewhere. Or maybe there you go. Maybe he didn't go anywhere. Maybe Khadija, this European woman, was just there, as they tell you, and she married him. Okay. Then, demons harassing me right now, I'm forgetting. Then, right, it helped him have followers from Europeans who think alike. Get it? Because that is around the time that a lot of Europeans were already very advanced, right, than the others. Everybody knows the Arabs were losers. They were just useless. They were just poor and lose. Their whole country, society, they were living like past time, backwards. Everybody called them backwards. So Europe would have been the ones to tell them, you're backwards. We have some civilizeness because exactly they're following the good parts of the Bible. They weren't following the bad ones. You guys, if you just follow your scriptures, you're all going to go down, obviously. So you get me. I always tell you guys that my life is similar to the prophet because it's like being used to expose what was said about him that are lies. Okay, so which country did I always tell you if you listen to my past episodes? What did I tell you if I had to be somewhere as a Muslim that, right, is against all the evil in this religion? I'm not like these weirdos. What did I tell you guys? I told you I cannot be around Muslims, right? And that the only race I could go to is the Europeans because they don't follow all this filth except the religious ones, but they're restricting them. They're shutting them up in their churches, right? So if I had to go to a race, I have to stay in Europe. I have to be here, everybody. Right? That decency is here. We wouldn't say they all think morally, but the governments are not necessarily saying it's okay to go around and do all these filthy things Islam says today, right? Okay, so our prophet was the same. Arabia became wonderful after him. Yes, they spread righteousness after him. Yes, but so did Europeans and so did Africans. It spreads to everybody. The good people of every place that you would say are also being victimized, right? They don't know how to stop it. They got strength and came together. A prophet of God is here to work with them. And okay, they took over. Justice returned. Women became tough and they went to war and defended themselves. Everything you think should happen, happened. And when I say war, I mean after the prophet is gone. I told you he doesn't go to war. That's not the job of a prophet. Because they're supernatural. They don't fight with human beings. I mean when he's no longer there. Muslim women used to go to war with good Muslim males and they used to defend themselves against whoever that moment was going to bother them. And you might be like, why is there so much war? Exactly. The devil is thinking, I have to demolish all the good stuff that just happened. All this morality that got established, I have to destroy it. So as Muslims who think a lot of wars happen, I'm telling you, the prophet was not in it. Because when a prophet is here, everybody's scared of him. He's like that powerful person. You're going to freak out. No one is fighting with him, and he didn't go to war with anybody. Your evidence is the fact that when he already came and he spoke to the Arabs and they said no, he just immigrated. So don't be like he has to go to war. No, his nature already shows you he just goes somewhere else. He just needs to find some followers who are good people. They're gonna just join together. But then they're not gonna come and kill these ones. Exactly. They're just gonna simply talk to the victims. Do you want to join us? Get away from them. Don't let that male harm you. Don't let that female attack you. Like whatever. You get me? Good just come together. There's no war. So Mahdi's not gonna go to Israel and kill them for you. Only bad people are killing you. Well, why should the whole Israel be killed? There's good people who don't want to be in this nonsense. So because that's the opposite, right? Treating a whole group as one, the prophets teach you the opposite. Treat everyone as an individual. Just put the puzzle together. If Khadija was in Arabia, that's not possible. So that's what I'm saying. He has to immigrate. He has to go to Europe or something. That's probably the only race he can find a spouse. Okay? I just don't think he was attracted to Africans because my prophet is very similar to me. So that's another cue. But in terms of right, a good place that's civilized and nice, not perfect, right? Because he developed Europe. I'm talking about just nice and decent. It was Europe. You guys can't be like, we're so special and cool. No, you were using the good parts of the Bible. There's nothing special about your race. It's always God's book. So that's why the Muslims started to rule so well, have great empires, because they were also following the good parts of Islam. But then these weirdos come to us and tell stories about the Prophet. Instead of just throwing it away, they boom, 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 take over. And now you're just like how Arabs were at the beginning. They were destroyed and everyone looked down on Arabs. Now they're destroyed and everyone is looking down on them. The whole world is like, what's wrong with these people? They have a war every 5 months, you know? So then it's like Mahdi has to return and do the same thing your prophet did. They have to literally start all over again and go to Arabia and be like, you wicked evil doers. You mocked my prophet. You brought back the sins of your ancestors. This man destroyed. They're going to show you the original Quran. They're going to have supernatural abilities. You're not going to be fooling around. They might throw some wind at you or something. Because I believe they're going to have power to use rain and wind and yeah, supernatural things like that. But that's not even the point. This is someone that's supernatural. No one can touch them. So there's no conquering. There's no fighting. They're just going to tell you vocally, I'm a messenger of God. You see why they're not only called prophet? Because prophet doesn't necessarily make you think they're from God, right? If you just hear the word prophet, what does that remind you of about a God? It doesn't remind you about a God, right? It's a prophet. What does that mean? You don't know. But messenger, okay, you can continue the sentence. Messenger of God. So they're going to basically say to you, I'm a messenger of God. So I'm basically telling you what God thinks. You're wicked doers. Stop it. You're not going to do this. And you're not going to accuse, the prophets and God of allowing you to do this. So you get me? So they have to first give the message. They can't just bomb these people, okay? They have to first stop the lying. Because the lying is why they're so confident. So you first have to tell them you're wrong. God didn't tell you to do this. Now the ones who, right, are going to get in everybody's way is going to be exactly who was doing those things. And the ones who were just hiding and being scared of them and not, you get me? They're not evil ones just like them. They're going to be like, oh, thank you. We're so happy. We didn't know what to do. We were just living normal lives, just raising our kids. Every time they try to steal our daughters, we were fighting with them. They try to bring religion. They try to guilt us, but we were just avoiding it like that. The good people who never did these horrible things will join Mahdi. Okay, the Mahdi's probably going to marry a European again. Because it's like, that doesn't mean then God just creates somebody to be a copy of Prophet Muhammad. No, it just means he's picking two people who originally would have been similar, and he's just making sure they come after each other instead of Mehdi 5 billion years ago. He didn't change their identity. He didn't ruin them and make them into some copy of the Prophet. But see, but at the same time, God isn't using that smartly to show you what the problem is, the areas that these two human beings are similar. But then also everybody, see, God is trying to teach you something at the same time. Mahdi has to marry European Because Europeans are the only ones right now who have that decent morality. They don't follow this filth. They don't go to churches and listen to those nasty things. There's so many of them. Exactly. They just love God, but that's it. They don't go there. Because Christianity has wickedness too. Yeah, but they're not connected to the religious. They're just good people. They just mind their business. So Mahdi will not even have a choice. You get me? In terms of these two races, of finding refuge in a group. I'm talking about a group here. They definitely gonna find refuge in Europeans again. So then, do you see why they're gonna get developed also? It doesn't mean they're gonna destroy Europeans. When Muslims want to listen, then they're gonna feel the development. They think Mahdi's gonna come and you're gonna listen to him and he's gonna just help you be wealthy. But they're gonna tell you what I'm telling you. So whoever says no, your countries are gonna be destroyed then. So then Europeans might take Islam and run with it. It doesn't mean that's bad for you or something, right? As if there's some enemies of Islam and oh no, what if they then what the hell? They're human beings. God is their Lord. They might really join and leave Christianity and see that they're not leaving Jesus. They're not going against him. This is what he would have told them also. Like that. They're gonna have the conviction. They're not losing anything. Okay. And then Muslims might have to, right, be sort of the last people to join. You guys think there's some of you that has to join at least at the beginning. Maybe there won't be that much who will join at the beginning. Maybe all the Arabs will be like, we could care less. We're not listening to this beautiful new Islam. Maybe you're all wicked. But since that's not true, everybody, right? Don't freak out. Since there's good and bad in every race and every ethnicity, whoever is good among all of you will join Mahdi. Just simply morality. No fighting, no war, no conquering, nothing. That is how you know then they're not someone's leader. They're not Arabs' leaders. Jesus is not Israel's leader. They're okay, they're God's messengers. And you would agree God, he's the God of everybody, right? Okay, so whatever they tell you to do cannot separate the human race. They're just gonna help all of you. They're gonna tell you what to do with the bad ones. So they're gonna make sure war doesn't happen, destruction doesn't happen, because that's where they have supernatural beliefs. We're just gonna ask God to help us against them. What? No. But they're not going to take lives of people who just entered the religion who could right, increase the number. They're not going to bomb you and get rid of you, and now it's just them again. We're not going to lose these people. We need them. So you see, it goes back to God again. He has to watch you, observe you, and then make that decision he's always made. Even though he knows what he's going to do, right? He's going to have to get rid of some of you. But no one is going to come and wage a war on you. The goal is for you all to repent and stop. And there's some that, yes, we want them to repent, but they have to be killed because they've done things like rape. So obviously justice will be served. But this is your evidence as to why Europe is such a big deal for the story of Prophet Muhammad. They act like he had no interaction with these people because his wife was European. And I just told you, it's not rational she was in Arabia and then just married him that way, because those women are crazy and their lands are very sexist and harmful to women. So why would this European woman who has a business, right, who's sophisticated, why the hell would she come here and do business with these people? They're crazy. Do you see what I'm saying? So that means he had to go to some European place and marry that female. You see? Okay, then that also, if you're like, okay, I understand, but where's the sort of little bit of hint of the sort of immigration? Aren't there stories of him immigrating? Okay, the devil just flipped it. He just made it to Mecca to Medina. But maybe it was Mecca to Europe, you know? And okay, now you would agree there's no Arabs around him if he actually went to Europe. And his first uh, Muslim, not his first Muslim, the first Muslim to enter, right, the religion, now obviously is a European woman. Okay, and it wasn't just a regular female, it was someone God chose for him to marry. Okay, and they married each other. Okay, they chose each other, great. But then see, he's still in Europe, everybody. That means exactly Europeans followed the religion first. But that is dangerous to Christianity. The evil ones who don't want you to know, they also know their book is corrupted. People who just want to force Christianity on people and not admit Islam is also from God. That's dangerous to the bad ones in Christianity, not the people who just follow it, right? Because they think this is God's religion. No, the bad ones who actually are trying to force it on you, and they know this book is corrupted. It's dangerous to them when that. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about the past. It was dangerous to them to see the religion of God come back and take his throne, right? It honors the Bible. It just says this stuff is wrong. You get me? It doesn't destroy. It doesn't dishonor it. Okay, so it's dangerous for them. Do you agree? Because this was obviously their little thing. This was their little book too. This was their little cult also to also promote all the evil in the Bible. So then they're the ones who then have to erase from history. Their people were the first ones to enter Islam and not the people that Islam first came to, which is the Arabs or Asians. And they have to push off this whole religion, this man, his wife, to Asia. It's like they're saying, we're just gonna throw you out of our history, like you disown somebody. Just get them away from this place. They obviously came and made their history, because then they can act like they didn't commit a sin, that they didn't leave his religion, that they didn't leave the religion of God. They can act like they didn't ever disobey. They can act like they just never saw anything, never had anything to say no to. We never met your prophet. We never knew who he was. What do you want from us? We see the one that you have right now as Muslims, and it's bad, it's terroristic. You get me? They have to act like, right? These children today, right, who are born to them are obviously ignorant. But those ancestors, that's why now you see why there's a huge, huge rage of human beings who tell you the prophet didn't enter Europe. They don't just say it normally. And someone who's obviously like you and I, who lives in this time, who don't know anything, it's not us talking, because we just don't know, right? We don't have anything against it if someone tells us it happened. But the ones who just seem to get mad, okay, you might be like, but they're not ancient. Why would they get mad? Those ancestors did the sin because those ancient demons are possessing them, and they have to perpetuate the same speech. Just like, right, those Arabs are dead, but their sons today are filthy perverts. You get me? It's the same thing here. It's not just immorality that can pass on when a demon possesses you. It's also the lying you do about anything else, not just morality. So, right, as I was saying, that example of Europeans, right, not only have they always been the ones to help me, right, Muslims would not help me, to be honest, during the persecution when, uh, it's very hard to say that because I don't want you to think everybody's bad in that group, you know? But I just want you to know, based on just right, the bad people in these groups, Muslims, and then just Africans overall, the bad ones, the groups that I was sort of mixed with, right? I just want you to know they're the ones who always were bad to me when they don't know who I am, because it's important that they don't know who I am so I can see their character. Okay, but the humans who always helped me the most were European. But that's not because there's something special about European. You get me? It's because they're not following the evil in their religions, in their governments. They make it civilized. So you still need to see the reason why they're able to help me, you know? Obviously, good civilized countries like the US, right? The devil's obviously destroying it now, everyone. But just before Trump, it was nice. You know what I mean? So, for that reason, the only human who ever helped me my whole life, I'm 31 this October, was a European, and they helped me against the sort of bullies or the bad people at a job I had. And I haven't met someone like that ever since then. You know? They don't know they had that much significance, though. They don't know God was using them. And now that I know my prophet probably married a European woman, right? And everybody talks about how she was the only one to help him, and he was so alone and isolated. That connects now to why I have to go through the same thing. But then, two, but why? But why are they the only one to help you? One, that means you need to respect Christians. That means they have so much good. They're able to also accept others, unlike Muslims are told to do. That means God's original book, the Bible, is the reason why Europeans are civilized. You can never connect anything to anything other than God Himself. So even if you're like, oh, if our prophets came today and they don't believe in all the filth and religions, where would they go and seek refuge? The European people and the Asians who don't follow these bad parts of their religion, they can't really go to the Muslim like places. They can't go to the places that are like these churches that perpetuate this stuff. It's like they have to go to the places that is not religious. And that makes sense. They came to stop the bad stuff or the lies in religion. Makes sense. They can't go near religious people. You're the ones who won't listen anyway, even if, right? It's not about finding refuge, but just simply who would listen first. Why would you listen first? Because exactly, if you just thought that's how God was, then you just be good people, ignore the bad stuff. But if you're so religious in the sense that you follow everything because you're actually evil and you don't want to call these horrible things, you just want to do it, that means you're a bad person. So the prophets are just gonna get away from bad people, get it? Don't link it to the religion. But if the bad people are mostly coming out of religions, then they have to get away from people who are bad, but mainly in religion. Because religion is corrupted. See, then that's your cue. Humans who don't want to be controlled by the bad stuff in religion, they like to separate from you, make their governments not, mixed with churches and mosques. They just want to be free. That's who's gonna listen to Mahdi. So that's why then, right? Islam tells you when the prophet told you about this new prophet that's coming, go and pledge allegiance to them. Go find them. Where even if you have to crawl through snow. Snow means they're in European countries. Go find them. Go pledge allegiance. Because it already means they're not necessarily going to be where you think they would be. So wherever they are, go to them. That already tells you. God is telling you. Good people are everywhere. So you all have to be told to go to the person. It doesn't mean we're saying there's just bad Muslims or Africans that are bad. No, the good Arabs, the good Asians overall, the good Africans, the good Europeans. Your prophet is saying just go and run to this person wherever they are. That's already your cue. They're not going to be where you think they are. And don't be like, okay, we understand that. God could hide them and take them somewhere else. But why is he hiding them there? Why is God taking them to places that we would all agree is probably the most civilized countries and not Islamic? That's God showing you they can't go there because you guys are not like them. They don't agree with you. So you already have to agree Islam is corrupted because they can't visit you. It's not comfortable. It's not safe. It's not good. They don't know how to help you there. You're gonna have to find them. And everyone then, right? Just to be giving you one more hint, they say the Prophet's wife was Khadija, right? Maybe that's just her name after she became Muslim. And the devil doesn't want you to know what her original name was, right? As either a Christian woman or some other religious faith. Exactly, because then you're going to connect that name, see, to her race. Africans obviously don't have the same names as Europeans. So, Khadija, all these sort of names, technically, you would all push it to Arabs. Even though some names, right, that Arabs use come from terms in Islam, right, like slave of God, like that. I know it seems like it's connected to religious, but because of their language, even before the Prophet, even before Islam reached them, right, it's just sort of their language to some degree. So even if they don't have like an Islamic name, right, or a Muslim name, still, you would then still think they're Arab because just their names are similar to Khadija anyway, you know? Maybe it's Catherine. um, I'm not gonna say Karen. I don't want anyone to think of the people acting out in society lately. I can't think of another name, but that's one other cue.